Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to do I'm going to show you how I do some antique vintage looking tags for junk journals, crafts, gifts, whatever. Anyhow, I use recycled cardboard from any box I got sitting around, you know, like Coca-Cola, near beer boxes, whatever. It seems to be the perfect weight, you know, for tags. You know, it's probably about a 65-pound cardstock free, you know. I mean, if you drink soda, keep your box. See, there's my box. And then what I do with this, I cut it out square. And I measure out some lines, 2 inch, actually 2.5, 2.5, 1.5. And then I do, once I cut those out, quick it gives me something to put into my little tag maker. If you don't have one of these tag makers, you're going to want to get one. Okay, so there's a 2-inch piece, and then 1-inch piece on the end is just because I have different size choices on my little punch machine here. See? It's 2.5 inch with a cool looking edge on it. Then if you go to the 1.5, it's got a little round head and square ends, and this one has round corners and a round top. And they're different sizes. $20 on Amazon, something like that. So anyways, first thing I do actually is I make myself a background. I glue it to the cardboard, the whole piece back there, before I even cut these out, with tissue paper, vintage tissue paper. And I just glue that down with some Mod Podge and let it dry overnight, and then it's stuck to my cardboard. And the back's cool. Once you stamp these out, you're going to have this unique whatever you cut your box out of on the back of the tag. Kind of cool. So here we go. We're going to punch one. Make sure you slide this thing all the way into the back, because if you don't, your tag's not all the way in there. And we're going to punch it. And what you get is what you get. This one kind of leaves a little embossment too, where the tag hole is punched, which makes it really nice. The longer you press on it, the more evident it is. So anyways, I keep the scraps too that fall out of this thing. This one got cut in half, but it's still cool. See how they got these little pieces here? Those will actually help us make some embellishments on our card here shortly. And again, if you don't, this vintage tissue paper, oh, here comes my cat. Out Lily. Anyways, this vintage style tissue paper, I'll put a link in the video here or below in the description somewhere where you can get that stuff. It's relatively cheap and really brilliant colors. Cool vintage look. See the clock, moss. So anyhow, once all that stuff, I'm going to set these little pieces aside that came out of the punch. Now I got this cardstock, so I'm going to go ahead and open up here. That's just to protect myself when I'm gluing. I don't want to glue my cutting board. I make these 4.5, actually 4. No, 4.5. 4.5 inch long. So I just put the tip up there, cut down, and that gives me a nice size tag. Cool back. So anyways, you get this. You're going to end up with Anyways, sorry about that. I just figured out my phone only allows me to record for 5 minutes before I have to record again. So anyways, end up looking like this. I think we're off here on the tags. And what you do once you decoupage or glue down with Mod Podge the vintage tissue paper onto your backing board and punch them out with a fancy machine, you got yourself a tag with a background. And then I got another cool little machine here. If you don't have one of these, you want to get one. It's a border punch, just like the tag punch. Really cool. And I use coffee dyed tea paper. It's actually 65-pound grade, real nice artist paper. Not cardstock, but you know, stuff you draw on. And it holds the tea really well, and it's real durable and real good for finicky stuff when you go to glue it down, because it's heavier duty, you know, than regular copy paper. It's very hard to glue down when you get this finicky. So we're gonna punch that out. You see that? Pretty cool. I think it's called Tulips. Anyways, you get this kind of stamp on Amazon too, about 20 bucks. This stuff it leaves behind is really cool. And I try to implement that into the whole thing of the tag. See, you got these cool little pieces. Kind of weird. So I set those aside and I use them to embellish my tag. Now what to do with this, I'm going to try to get it on the bottom of this card here. And my idea here is to just make some kind of dolly type thing at the bottom to start off with my embellishments. But I'll show you something even cooler. I was already working on this earlier, so I spray painted my tea dyed paper with gold. So now what I'm going to do is take that machine back, and we're going to do some real messing around now. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a punch. And I want to say I'm going to need another punch later. I'm going to show you why. But let's just do one thing at a time. So again, here's my little pieces. I want to save those. Try to scoop them off with something here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, so it's going to set that coolness, aside. And I'm going to cut out. I'm going to actually use the cutter here. How much time do I got? Oh, time keeps on slipping. Okay. Set that aside. I want to get the end cut off right about there. I want to get this right about there too. Where do we go? Up there. Down there. Okay, I'm just going to trim that little piece off. So, nice shiny gold doily type looking thing. And that's going to look real cool when I do my tag. Okay, here's the background. Right on the tag. Right, cool. So, now it's about time for me to stop real quick and be right back. And gotta let my camera restart. Okay, so actually, and we need to remember there's a couple of little pieces here that got cut out. See those? Those are cool. And I'm gonna put those on here. Oops, flipped it over. These things are so finicky. Like up in the corner around the tag here somewhere. Kind of like that. You know? Give it something cool. So set those aside because I got something else. Got my whole baggie full of goodies here. Some other tags I'm making. Let's see here. This is actually this piece. No, it's not. Yeah, well anyways, here's some old vintage German sheet music. Got out of a music book online on eBay real cheap. And it's like 100 years old. And let's see, I'm gonna look for the piece that I cut out of the top of this. It's not that. Sorry. What I'm doing here. Maybe. Odd. Here it is. Gotta be this. Yeah. So when I cut it out, you remember the piece that comes out of the punch you want to keep, set aside. That's going to be my bottom piece down here. I'll flip it around, put it on the bottom there, give me a kind of nice cutout, some contrast to the background. Even though it's the same background, I'm going to give it some contrast with that piece of gold doily that I just made and glued in there. You know, that makes for a nice looking card. And then add these other embellishments here shortly. But going back to the music paper, I just like to rip it in little half circles. Get some of those nice music notes, whatever. Just rough it up. In this case, I'm going to just do one side roughed up. And I'm going to leave another side straight. This paper's so cool, it's so old. And let's see here. Kind of wanted to go a little smaller than this. So I'm just going to cut in half. Oop, I want to keep some of it. Okay, so there we go. Got my little sheet music thing here. See if we can zoom in. Oop. There, that's probably a little better. And let's see, I want to kind of like one tall one right there. I'll just make a little cut. See, I want to make sure I want one long kind of going up and in there, and one a little shorter. Or actually just one, you know what I mean? You don't want to get too busy on these things is what it is. But the idea was, oops. The idea was that I was going to kind of make them like columns. Anyhow, gonna come right back here. Okay, so here I got that other little short piece I was telling you about. I just wanted another little piece there. Kind of offset it, you know, no. And I kind of want to give it a little embellishment. Well, a little touch of vintage photo of my little cushy pad. Just tap that. How do I get on there? Oops, sorry. Penny, come on. Is it coming off? Sure is. Can't hardly tell, can you? So just gonna pat that. Give it a little rough. one side, a rough. This side. Maybe a little more. And I'll get it good in there. Put that aside. And put those back on there. Let's see, bring that back down in here. So that'll look cooler on there. Oops, come on. So that gives me an idea where I'm going, where I come from. Let's see if we can zoom that a little bit. This over a little bit. Oh, maybe I should just move this. So there we go. And then what I was going to do is take that other piece for the bottom. To keep your stuff organized, you won't have the same problems I'm having. Maybe it's underneath. Oh, here it is. I can't even see it. Boom. So, something like that. Ta-da! Anyways, figure out how to glue these on. Up in the corner. These are those pieces we cut out of the doily stamp on the spray painted gold tea paper. Something like that. Penny, come on. Get out. Go, go. Shh. I've got something else too that really gonna blow your mind. I made these butterfly gold leaf little embellishments you can cut out. I'm gonna cut out with the scissors. Throw it on here somewhere. Just with all it is let me blow this out again. It's packing tape, and I printed out a piece of regular copy paper out of my laser printer with some butterfly image I had, and you just tape the tape directly onto the image on your copy paper and rip the edges off, the excess paper, of course, and leave the paper stuck to the back, of course. Don't try to peel it off the paper, the tape, because when you go to a sink, you just rub with your thumbs and the water will take the paper right off and leave you with this transparent butterfly. And then I just turn it over after it dries and I rub a glue stick on the back of the tape and lay down this gold leaf. Comes in a box like this, real cheap. This is not real authentic gold leaf. It's imitation, like tin and copper or something like that. It's a lot cheaper and easier to work with and not as expensive. So anyways, we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to cut these out. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I got my butterfly cut out here. Pretty cool little gold. See? And that tape, makes it have this nice glossy finish. The back, we don't care. We're going to glue it down. And this is my idea to try it. One thing, you notice I haven't glued anything down. Let me zoom in here for you. That's about good. I haven't glued anything down because you want to layer, you want to imagine, you want to know what it is you're making before you glue anything down. Because if you don't, you're going to mess it up. So here I got the butterfly coming in here. I can go as far as there. I could put him all the way in the back. Layering is important. You want your background to come to the foreground, and so your background pieces are going to be your first pieces to glue down, and foreground pieces, so forth and so forth until you get to your last piece. So you got to remember where you put things before you start gluing. And these are the extra pieces I had. I only have need for one. Sorry about that. one extra relic in there, I mean, or embellishment, because you don't want to get these things too busy. Busy is cool, but too busy is too busy. So I just kind of go with the flow and piece it together freehand, and then rip it all apart and try to remember where I wanted it. And hopefully it comes out something like I was hoping. There's something else on my mind here. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, there's one more piece. So this gold paper, I'm gonna make another little doily with my cool little edge cutter. Remember the edge cutter? Gonna punch that baby right there. Let's see, let me find a flat edge. Slide it in there. Come on. Where do I wanna go? There it goes. Make a nice punch. Pull that out of there. Now this time, like the bottom piece there. Whoop, wrong way. But I just want a piece of it. So I want this middle piece. And all I'm going to do is cut it straight, like a diamondish heart. Like straight towards that middle circle. Boom. And then from this corner, straight towards that circle. Boom, boom, boom. That's totally cool. Because this piece, I know I'm talking about going too far. This cool little piece just came out of that same stamp, or that same punch. Isn't that cool? So there's all kinds of things you can do with this edging thing. It doesn't matter if you have a little fray there, fray here. See a little fray? Who cares? Because that's going to add to the unique situation we've got going on here. I'm just going to put that somewhere in the middle there, kind of straighten it out. So I've got some kind of thing here. But I want these piano pieces to be more in. And this is like there in the middle. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. Because imperfection is what we're looking for here. Like vintage, old school, steampunky kind of radical, not your plain Jane crap. You know. So let me zoom that in. Whoop. There you go. Kind of cool, huh? And that wing over there, we can just cut it off straight, you know, when we're done gluing this all down. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, now I think we're gonna get busy. Busy. What I basically tore it all apart here, and I'm down to my base because we're ready to roll. But you know what? We're not getting out of this without a stamp. And I got a really cool one. Big old honker. Got postage on it. Got that off of eBay from somebody a while ago. Nice stamp. And what I'm going to use is not my distressed vintage stuff. I'm going to use this Stays On Timber Brown. Get it not all over the place, but just like in the corner. I'll take this off. Let's see what I like. It's too much black. I like this area with this 98 on it. Whatever. And this timber brown, it's really cool because it's dark as hell, but it's not black, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna put that right on there. See what we come up with. So that's cool. That gave us some depth, a little bit. Cool. Now, I gotta clean my stamp. But wait a minute. I'm gonna let that dry. As soon as that dries, I'm going to go ahead and glue a couple of things down real quick. The little tiny finicky things in the corner. You know, these things. Then I'm going to arrange my piano paper and butterfly. This cage, I want this to be like a cage, you know, it's like the cage, but this is going to be the ultimate final piece. And then I got some little garnishment I'm going to hang off a string. And I got these cool little, look, gold tiny little beads. Got them from like an Indian craft place online. Little tiny suckers. They got a little tiny hole. So that's perfect for the string I'm going to use, because I'm going to use some of this artificial Sinew. And just make a little dangly thing that comes down or something that just hangs off the tag, like if you were to hang it on a tree or something. So anyways, let me let that dry. We're about 3 minutes in here on this skit. And that'll save us some time when I come back, because it'll already be on there. And those little finicky things, I know they're going to be a pain to glue on. So what I'm going to use basically to show you real quick is I'm just going to use Elmer's clear glue. Ready to go here, clear glue. Because, you know, all the stuff that's just going to lay flat and it's not very bulky. But when I do get into, you know, like putting the final front piece on, it's just as thick as the tag is, then I'm going to step it up a notch and use my Gorilla Glue, because that'll really bond it down real good. But if it's just flat stuff, either a glue stick, depending on what it is. I mean, the butterfly is kind of flimsy, you know, so it's hard to glue with a glue stick. So I just drip and smear around little edges and pieces, because it doesn't matter if, you know, things are popping up a little bit, because at the end result, what we're going to want to do is seal this thing, you know. And I've got some, oops, universal clear sealant spray, Rust-Oleum stuff here, UV protectant stuff, clear gloss, that I think is what I'm going to use. I do have epoxy resin, but it gets a little messy. Okay, well, that's going to pretty much wrap it up here. You don't even want to know how long it took me to glue all those little things down. Very tedious. Almost dry. You can see the glue's not quite dried up yet, but that's why I like to use that clear glue, you know, because it dries clear. But all the pieces came together, and only one more thing I wanted to do. I was going to show you my little embellishment I made. See? Tiny little beads. I get them from like Indian crafts and stuff places. Little tiny things. And the eye hole on here is so damn tiny that I actually peeled 3 single threads of that Sinew. Artificial Sinew. Painstakingly, you can barely see it. See how tiny they are? Just to fit in those little tiny beads. But anyways, it's cool. I'm going to try to tie it on here, because it's all stringy and vintage looking. I just double tied it. I mean, folded it over, and now I'm going to tie it, double tie it. If I can get it under there. It's the hardest thing with these strings. Pain in the ass. Well, the beads need to go through. So, you don't want that all the way touching the card. Sorry, this is a pain in the ass. I don't know what that string is. You can do it. Okay. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And there. So, now we got a little dangly thing. Finish off the card. Pretty cool, huh? All that gold leaf on the back of that tape, you know, that masking tape or that packaging tape is really cool. Like the gold shimmer in that, you know, it kind of gives a lot more contrast than the paint, you know, that I just painted on the paper. Let's see if I can lay it down here and you guys can take a look at it. But anyways, let's see. Let's get it in focus. It's about as much as I can zoom. So, there you have it. Vintage, old school looking junk journal tag. Really like that Sinew, but it's a pain in the butt to work with. You don't even, yeah, it takes a long time to tear those little tiny threads apart. And then just to get a main piece of string again and twist them all together. But it's durable. It's very durable. I mean, it's just as durable as thread. You just can't see it, you know, because it's kind of transparent when you pull it apart. But thanks for watching. Again, there's a link below if you want to find out, whoops, where to get this cool vintage tissue paper. Really nice 10 by 15 sheets. Or you can get it in 20 pound, but I suggest sticking with the smaller sheet sizes and the 10 pound weight, because when you go to use the Mod Podge, it's thin, you know, like if you were to pull apart napkins and decoupage, this is just as thin. So if you get the 80 pound, it's more expensive. It's a bigger sheet though, 20 by 30. Thing is, it's very heavy, you know, and it doesn't glue very good with Mod Podge. I mean, it sticks, but it's difficult. But thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe. Maybe I'll make some more of these videos here shortly. I got all kinds of ideas going on here. But thanks. See ya.